My mind is cloudy. It wants to create reasons and seasons. I've reached that age where people wander off. We aren't lost. We just have the strength to say, I think I'm tired. Which I find interesting because in the earlier chapters of our nation's history, old usually meant you were 35 plus. In fact, in 1860, most men and women barely made it to 39 years in age. Oh my. I do remember that year of my life. I was just getting started. A huge amount of energy blew onto my paths of choice, and every level of play that I was invited to found amazing success. I loved being in my 40s. I was truly beginning to understand what living in the present is all about. Activating it, though, that journey to get there came with high expectations without judgment. And then the world changed on September 11, 2001. It's all documented in my daily writing, from the age of 32 to where I presently stand at 61. Hey, it's Arrow. This is The Daily Mess, a chronological walk through an everyday world. I am that daily writer. To take simple thoughts and see where they can be planted. Because once we plant a thought inside the soils of the everyday life, we begin to see life in places that were once bare. If I could just challenge you or coax you to put words on a page, it serves the future with an opportunity of experience. And it's that experience that feeds what is to become our new tomorrow. This is The Daily Mess. I don't know anyone else who has written daily for nearly 3 decades. I don't do it out of conceit or a need to tell a story. It's just how I breathe. Things are endlessly moving through me, and the goal is to remove the stones that are blocking the stream from reaching outward to an unseen ocean. The greatest challenge with being a dedicated morning writer is being able to tune out the atmosphere created by others. I can't expect anyone to silently sit on the sidelines waiting for me to finish writing. Therefore, it's taken years to accept the movement and sounds of others, while I'm lost somewhere between here, there, and everywhere. I do know other writers, but I've yet to meet a daily expression artist. I can't imagine what our conversation would be like. Would we actually be physically talking or jotting notes down in a hardcover notebook? Daily writers. I know you're there, but how come you don't step out into the real world and talk about it? You know, podcasting was not created by comedians and wannabe radio disc jockeys. It was actually created by people who took their thoughts from their daily writing and they created blogs. So the bloggers took their writing and said, I want it to be seen as well as heard. So here came vlogging on YouTube. And on this thing called streaming, there were podcasts. They were bringing their voice forward to be heard, which is one of the reasons why when I sit down with other creative minds, I'll ask them, the songwriter that you are, is it really a songwriter? Or is it that inner soul that's very much alive in you that just wants to find a stage where it can put its messages? Who is the writer in you, and why would you make a choice not to allow yourself to be the daily writer? I get it. You got to be in the mood. I have been challenged for nearly 30 years as to, well, what the hell am I going to write about today? So it doesn't sound like yesterday or last week. Yesterday on the podcast, I said, when you have those moments where the pen is just standing there on the page and nothing is being written, just ask a question. Ask any question. Trust me, that inner child, that being on the inside is going to answer the question, but you on the outside have got to have the strength to keep pushing that writing instrument forward. I get it, but it is a very lonely place to be. Even though this studio is blessed with nearly 30 years of writing, it's all beautifully put in places where you would never know that the writing is here because I take great care of it. But people that I know, if they were to come in here and I said, read whatever you want, any day you want, what would you like to know? They wouldn't know where to begin. Nor would I. Because although it's on paper, I don't remember. I don't know what I actually put on that page, especially since we were talking about September 11th, 2001. I can assume, but I don't know. Now I sound like my mother, which is the very reason why I picked up writing. I don't want to sound like my mother. Son, I don't know. Son, I don't remember. Son, change the subject. Because it's on the pages. If I need to know, I can go back. And that's what I'm trying to invite you to. Give tomorrow something to hold on to. I'm Arrow, and that's the Daily Mess.